Tall Tales by Paul Deal at the ranch.
Was there was an Indian burial site. My boss told me there was an Indian burial site. My boss told me about it, but he never told me where it was. So when I took over, I went and befriended this Indian Arrowhead guy that does the napping and stuff. And for 2 years, he looked for this thing and he couldn't find it. And then I was buying some Aoudad, the first time I've spent any money here. And I was nervous because I wanted to show Jeff, I didn't just take your money or something. So we put him in this pen. And we're walking around, and my friend that brought me the animals, he said that he just got his Brown number from the federal government, that he was an actual Cherokee Indian, Cherokee Capture Service. And I'm making fun of him, teasing him, telling him now he's a minority, his Obama phone and all that, just teasing him. And I step on a board, and I look down, it's just a board. I flip it over, and it says Indian Burial Site.
No way.
I've been looking for this thing for years, and the first time I'm with a real Indian, I found this thing.
Yeah.
Wow.
And there's a pile of rocks over by that oak tree right there. 2 big piles, and it's a level spot. And I imagine that there was like 2 dead Indian chiefs buried here. Got so excited. My friends were like, hey, we got to get them animals out of that trailer. So we ran over there, let them out, got my sign. We're driving back on the high road, and here comes all them stupid animals with the ear tags coming across the road. I got so excited, I forgot to shut one of the gates.
Oh!
So I had the sign to show Jeff, like, hey, I found this, but I lost the damn animals. So my Indian Arrowhead guy came, and I called him and said, hey, I found the thing. He says, oh, did you find the red rocks and the all these things you're supposed to. I said, no, a sign. He said, yeah, a sign, the red rock, and he went down. I said, no, dude, a goddamn sign that says it. He's like, wow. And so he said he'd come out the weekend. So he came out this weekend. I showed it to him. I was so excited. Like, I'm planning, we're going to grid this thing off and make a dig site. And he looks at it for 5 minutes, and he says, Paul, there might have been a sign, but there's no sign that this thing had anything to do with the Indians. I'm like, it has to be. And he says, dude, what do you see around you? I'm standing down there in a pasture. I said, a pasture? He says, yeah, that pile of rocks is some farmer clearing this pasture. That's all that is. And he says, I'm going to go over here and look. So I'm disgusted, thinking my friend wasted 2 years with this dude because he doesn't know what he's talking about. And the old guy that used to give the tours here, I've been talking to him for a couple of years, and he finally agreed to come for a tour. So I took him around the ranch. We get over there, and I said, what's the thing with the Indian burial site? He says, he started giggling. He's like 80-some years old at that point. And he says, Paul, I bet you wouldn't find anything over there. Mr. Winters told me and my buddy to go get these 2 5-gallon buckets of arrowheads, and we poured them all over that thing. And they got the University of Texas to come and certify that it was an Indian burial site.
Oh my
He
God.
said, but we'd stop and let people, pick up whatever they wanted. And sure enough, you can't find anything over there. So in the 50s, they used to give tours of the ranch and charge you for it. And his friend, he drove the van, and they're air-conditioned vans in the 50s. And he drove the van, and his friend would come before him, and he had a horse, a paint, those pretty Indian horses.
Oh, right.
Right, a paint.
Mm-hmm, yeah.
And he wore this big cowboy hat. So he would ghost them all through the tour, and they would be driving, and he would get ahead of them and be up on a hill posed on his horse so they could take his picture, and then he'd go and take the shortcut, and then he'd be waiting for him again at the next spot.
The next ridge or something, huh?
Oh, great.
So
Stories.
my
Yeah.
Indian guy he knew what he was talking about. I still haven't found any, big cachet of
Yeah.